Hey everybody, welcome to Wednesday. Patreons and boss fight Kickstarter backers, please check the updates on either the Kickstarter boss fight page, logged in so you can see backer only updates, and same thing with Patreon. Log into Patreon because a lot of people are missing the email updates because we're all like bombarded by junk mail. But check it. Very important thing today for this Friday. Check it. If you want to know what I'm talking about, helps with this channel, become a monthly patron, patreon.com/LanaK. Very, very important boss fight update. Next week I'll be doing an update to everybody of how far we are before boss fight episode 1 drops. It's soon. It's soon. I will tell you that. But that's not what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about today 2 stories broke in the last few days. And they're similar in that they deal with sexy times. And I gotta watch what I say because YouTube demonetizes all this stuff instantly, or limited monetization. But one is the Samurai Shodown Iroha reveal. And the other is the scene that went sort of viral in a clip from, it's got the lengthiest bad name in the world, Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, which is the last movie in the original animated movies DC Universe shared universe. And in that movie, they indicated that King Shark was John Constantine's ex. And it was a whole played for laughs thing of John Constantine's like, oh boy, it's my ex. And I think it's Raven saying, what, Harley? Like Harley Quinn? And it's like, are you mad? Or I'm not mad, or something like that. And then they go up to King Shark, and King Shark's like, and Constantine's like, and it's played for laughs. And so, one is having a character have an overtly, not just not straight sexuality, but what did Matt Ryan call him? Bi-special, because it's not just there's that furry element, or scaly, or whatever you call when it's an anthropomorphized shark. And at first I'm like, oh god, the slash art. And so I Googled, and there was. And so I was having a laugh about it on Twitter, just as this Samurai Shodown thing was going on. And people insisting that not that many people complained. Some people say it was only 3. It was hardly a big uproar. It wasn't trending or anything like that. I mean, this is a fighting game that's, something of a niche game. It has a very dedicated fan base, but it's not like Mortal Kombat sales, okay? But the whole thing was the fact that this very fan servicey character, I don't even know if I'm allowed to show anything with this character. She's a busty lass in a maid costume. Apparently she's based on the crane wife myth, somebody said, who's a big fan of the character. She was a very popular character from a previous iteration of the game. I think the 2018 version of the game. The game series, different game. But she was announced as a character, and the trailer was thirsty. And the social media account said as much. They used the word horny. And it sort of erupted. The account deleted the tweets and apologized after a few people complained, which of course only created a fresh wave of outrage. Now, if they were looking to get free publicity for their game, and this, very fan servicey character reveal, bravo. Well done, right? Well done, SNK. Um, but I found the juxtaposition um, interesting, that we're all allowed to have a laugh about Constantine and King Shark, which is sexual content, but people get offended when people have a laugh about sexual content surrounding an obviously fan servicey character in a video game. And the big difference seems to be that Constantine is a not straight guy, meaning he gets 2 points in the allowed to have a sex life column, whereas Iroha is a woman designed to appeal to men. So she's a woman. Women aren't allowed to be sexy, right? And heterosexual sex, oh no, that's bad. You can fetishize LGBTQ plus sex, and for some reason, that's okay. But, oh God, no, don't show anything that might appeal to lesbian women or heterosexual men. I know some ladies very excited that Iroha's back. But I'm not going to talk about whether the individual things were right or wrong, because that way lies madness. People are allowed to have their opinions on individual things, whether they thought it was well done, whether they thought it was overdone, whether they thought this is appropriate for an official account. If anybody's interested, in my opinion, if you're going to put a character like that out there, I appreciate the honesty about why they're doing it. I mean, for God's sakes, look at her. Why else would, it's one thing to do the boobage. That could be like just aggression. But a maid's costume? When we're hitting maid's costume territory, it is what it is, folks, right? But I mean, there was a certain amount of revelatory over-the-topness in just how many people they've had John Constantine sleep with now in various DC shows. I mean, I've lost track of the number of people he slept with on Legends of Tomorrow, and now they're doing it in the cartoon. I joked on Twitter that at this point, John Constantine has slept his way through the DC universe over land, sea, and air. But it is telling that an overtly sexualized male character and an overtly sexualized female character are treated so differently, isn't it? And I mean, this is one of those things where this is how women enforce sexism alongside men. When women are going, oh, ew, don't want to see that with sexy women. I mean, you may not want to see that. I would rather look at Iroha than King Shark Constantine / because I'm sorry, the mechanics of that, not the way I want it. No, how? I mean, I know there's magic, but still breakable. But as somebody who finds both completely acceptable, the double standard is not. Get what I'm saying? Like, this is one of those things where I think part of the uproar surrounding the apology was because it was very much a double standard. I mean, remember when everybody cheered Hot Ryu from Street Fighter? I mean, that was made, yay, a celebratory thing. I don't know if the official Street Fighter account joined in, but if it did, would that make it more or less okay? So there's a double standard, and let's face it, the response, both by the Samurai Shodown Twitter account and sort of the general media covering this thing, is predicated on the assumption that it is totally normal and the common opinion for women to be threatened and or put off and or feel unwelcome in the presence of other sexy ladies that men find attractive. But when it's when it's flipped around and there's a guy that everybody's, very interested in his sexuality, and let's face it, for a lot of people, a lot of women with Constantine, the thirst is real. I don't get it. He'd probably smell like cigarette smoke and brimstone. And God, like he does all that gross, like magic stuff. He'd smell bad. Like, no, get it away. I love Matt Ryan's performance of the character, but he probably stinks. Not my thing. But there is a definite difference in how the various thirsts, the various flavors of thirst, are received. And that's not okay. Whenever there's a double standard, that's not equality. And we can argue whether it's a marker of inequality or the cause driving the inequality. I think it's probably both. It's a cycle. But ultimately, this hurts everybody in a way. But when you think about it, okay, guys have to be more quiet about their thirst, right? But women are having a major point of expression be treated as dirty. And the thing I find strange about this whole thing is you're talking about a game where people beat the bloody fuck out of each other. Once there's that level of violence, why do we really care about what else is added onto it? It's violent. It's probably not appropriate for children, but, oh no, people say cartoon violence is appropriate for children. So they look at the game and go, oh, it's toons. Well, that's a Western perspective, right? I mean, this is why I found it so interesting, because the Justice League cartoon is also a cartoon. There's nothing terribly distinguishing it from a cartoon for children unless you understand what the Justice League Dark brand is. No, it is not a brand of chocolate bar. I've always hated that imprint, that title, because it sounds to me like a chocolate bar, and that I want dark chocolate and I have no dark chocolate and I become sad. But I just wanted to note the double standard and recognize the double standard and say, I'm not okay with the double standard, because double standards never go anywhere good. And ultimately it is continuing to have women be second-class status in video games, not just because, if I wear something fun to a video game conference and I'm wearing thick performance tights underneath, you see nothing, I still get told to put on pants because my shorts aren't pants. That actually happened to me with the security guard at E3. Thank God I saw it coming and had a pair of pants in my bag. No fun for me. But almost got arrested outside of the Calgary Comic Expo for dressing as Ivy Valentine too. If I hadn't had that flesh mesh on, I don't know what they would have done. But these cops on bikes came screaming towards me because they thought from a distance I was half naked. It's the half part that's kind of important, right? Like, I don't know. But these are things that happen to women in the real world. And it's the same impulse as this stuff that's like, oh no, fan service, right? And it's not, let's face it, it's not that the guys are perving or thirsty, right? Like, let's make it clear. The implication, and I know people will read it differently, the way it lands on me is that it's not that guy's gonna perv because that's normal. It's that the game company or the character is somehow bad or wrong because they are facilitating or servicing that perv. And quite frankly, personally, I would rather have the exercise of guys learning that, okay, perv away, look, don't touch, go do what you need to do in private, Yes, certain women are very nice to look at. They are not yours. They do have autonomy. They can still say no. And guess what? I guarantee you, every single person who was thirsting on Twitter over Iroha, because Iroha's waifu, knows this. That's good. That's awesome. You know, I heard it said to me, you can admire a beautiful work of art, just don't try to tear it off the wall. This is what we should be encouraging. But let's face it, there's an element here of some women, and it might be more of a younger women thing. I'm not sure. You get to a certain point. I know when I turned 40, it's like, oh, the pressure's off to get that sort of attention. Like, you know, 40-year-old women are not exactly supposed to be sexy. We're not doing something wrong if we're not. So it's kind of like you hit a certain age and it's like, whatever, let them have their fun. You know, as long as like nobody's getting hurt, if they like that, of course they do, you know? Because then women are all like, ooh, the guy's on Supernatural and all that stuff. It's just, it is the way that humans are designed to work so that there is perpetuation of the species. And that doesn't mean that the only acceptable kind of sex is sex that leads to children. No, it's that we were designed to have this activity that is fun and feels good. And that's the only reason we do something that is otherwise really unpleasant. It is a carrot instead of a stick, shall we say. And you can have the carrot. You get as many carrots as you want. It may not, lead to immediate perpetuation of the species, but it's an incentive to try, right? This video is going to get demonetized. But you see my point, right? Like, ultimately, the freaking out over this character, which, the company Truth in Advertising, like, yeah, that's what she's designed to do. Desired effect achieved. It was turned into something shameful and or dirty and or wrong, and it's not. This is not a game played by children. Most kids will probably never encounter it. If they do, there's a lot more going on with the parenting than just this. But yeah, it's a double standard. I don't know what else. I'm interested in what you guys think. This to me is a defensible position instead of just my opinion. It's a fact that the treatments are so different. So yeah, I'm not even going to bother monetizing this video. Too much discussion of sexuality. That's instant. Limited ads now. So help support this channel. Become a monthly patron. Patreon.com/LeannaK if you like this sort of subject. Because we need to freaking talk about it. These knee-jerk reactions are ridiculous. Thanks for watching.